Yeah.
I'll call the August 18, 2025 meeting of the Indianola City Council to order. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Rabe? Here. Dalby?
Here.
Armstrong?
Here.
Beach? Zones?
Present.
Lane?
Here.
Mayor Richardson?
Present. We are here for public comment. If there's anybody in the audience who'd like to speak, please come forward. We got a 3-minute rule on that, and please keep comments to a point, and then also to be very respectful. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be pulled on the consent agenda? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion a second. Jake, you want to run down what we got here?
We've got approval payment app number 3 in the amount of $52,804.23 to Sternquist Construction for the West Clinton Avenue reconstruction project. Total project is $373,000 with $19,000 in contingency. Work is progressing on schedule and within budget with no use of contingency to this point. Consideration of approval for a liquor license renewal for Tienda La Mexicana, doing business as La Tiendita Mexican Store. Consideration of approval for the liquor license renewal for the zoo. Staff recommends approval of both and have inspected the premises. Consider iteration of issuance of a special event and noise permit to Helping Hand on September 6, 2025 for the Helping Hand Run and Jam event. Staff recommends approval. It's a timed run following McVeigh Trail. Setup will begin at 9 a.m. and tear down at 2 p.m. Item E, West Hill Brewing Bags Tournament for Huntington's Disease event. Event will be from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. There will be a street closure on West Salem Avenue between North B Street and the alley east of West Hill Brewing. Enforcement of alcohol on public streets is requested to be waived for the portion of Salem. These items will also approve the liquor license amendment for the extended service area. Item F is a resolution suspending enforcement of Indianola Code 4502 regarding the consumption of alcohol in a portion of West Salem during the West Hill Brewing Company's Oktoberfest Street Party on September 19, 2025. This is an annual event on the council-approved writ list. However, a resolution is needed to suspend the enforcement of alcohol on the public streets. There's been approximately 300 attendees that can be expected based on past years. Item G is a resolution appointing Bryce Johnson to the position of zoning administrator. Bryce Johnson rose to the top of a field of over 30 applicants for the Community and Economic Development Director position. Bryce has a bachelor's degree in Community and Regional Planning from Iowa State University with over 10 years of experience spanning both planning, zoning, and economic development. He has served as a planner in multiple communities, zoning administrator for Pella, and most recently as business development coordinator in West Des Moines. We're very excited to bring Bryce on board. Legal counsel advised that his duties will include that of zoning administrator, which is a city council appointed position. Staff recommends approval. And item H is a resolution approving an engagement letter with Allers and Cooney for general economic development matters. The engagement letter provides general parameters and fees for staff to continue working with Allers and Cooney on amending current development agreements and urban renewal areas, as well as any new economic development matters. Brick Gentry has reviewed the general engagement letter, and staff recommends approval.
With all that information, are there any questions?
No, sir.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Armstrong?
Aye.
Zones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Rabe?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Council reports. Council reports. Go ahead, Bob.
I've got a couple. First was last week's IMU meeting. It was Paul Craven's first meeting. If you'll recall, Paul was appointed by this group at our last meeting. So he attended his first meeting and seemed to enjoy it, got a nice welcome. Rachel Gokin provided an update from WCEDC on all their activities as well as seeking the continued support of IMU. Doug Schull provided an update on their financial report and their June 30th numbers. Said they've done a good job of budgeting. Chris Longer then reported that they would have the auditors on site next week, which is this week, now doing their annual audit. There were various reports from the different segments of IMU on just some equipment purchases and things of that nature. And then talked about just a couple projects that they had finished up, including the square project that they've been working on. If there are no questions about that, I'll give an update on the MIPA meeting I attended today, and the gist of that was we reviewed budgets and invoices and contracts for the last few months, and all those seem to be in order. Then we continued discussions of COGS, which are councils of government. These were created over 45 years ago in the state. Central Iowa, the MIPA is not a COG, but yet operates like one. And so there's, or are conversations, I should say, about the possibilities of making that happen. Should it come to that decision where the executive committee and the board of MIPA would like to pursue that, we decided today that all those participants in today's meeting, the executive committee, could have somebody come and present, or I will present some information to all of you, and it will be information that will be shared with all the members so that they're all getting a consistent message, if that would be a way we'd want to pursue. As I understand it right now, the biggest benefit to us doing so, we would have much more access to additional funds and services. Very little downside from what I understand, but again, that's just an update as to where we are with that process.
Just an FYI, Council on Governments was created, as you said, many, many years ago as a way to align smaller communities and smaller populated areas together so that they could pool their resources to do exactly what you're talking about, is gain more funding from federal and state sources. So that might be a good thing for us, even though they function as that currently, probably a good idea to move that way. Good, thanks.
The other thing was to remind you to talk about the.
Yeah, I've got that on my notes here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other council reports?
I have been meeting with Main Street as my committee assignment, and a number of things going on with the Main Street events, planning for Wine, Witches, and Brews. We've kicked off Home for the Holidays planning, very busy with that. And then also the economic vitality, which is how we keep the storefronts downtown filled. And so we will be meeting with the Iowa Economic Development Resource here coming up in the next couple of weeks with our committee, and putting a plan in place with that resource. So looking forward to that opportunity and moving that forward.
Any other council reports? Move on to the.
Sorry, one more thing on that.
Okay.
Put a plug in for their first anniversary dinner that is coming up on Thursday night.
Yes.
There are still tickets available, and would love to have anyone join us that is available.
Stole my thunder, but that's okay.
Oh, we mentioned it again.
We'll mention it again.
Best
Yeah, there we go.
time.
Yes, get out your best
There we
trouble.
go. All right. Item B then is receive and file the 2025 Treasurer's Report. Does anyone have any questions for Doug or for staff on the Treasurer's Report?
I've got one quick question, Mayor.
All right.
Fund 324, the K Street construction, so we bonded, roughly $3 million. And we think we've wrapped up that project and we're still sitting on $1 million. What are we gonna do with those funds? Or, I know at some point we've talked about trying to hold some back to do maintenance on that so that that road lasts longer. I'm just curious what the plan is with that $1 million.
So it's also combined with Hillcrest, so I need to work with the auditor on probably moving some of that extra funding into Hillcrest to zero that one out, because it's at a negative balance. But then after that, yeah, discussions need to be made.
Okay. Maybe at some point, we're gonna have to add that to the agenda to
Right.
talk about what to do with those
Jake's
funds.
taking a note right now, so we'll see if we get that on a future agenda here to talk about if there's a balance and what we're gonna do on some of that, okay?
Okay.
I know when we talked about it the first time I asked the question if we had the right equipment to maintain that road. So that's something that I would like to talk about when we bring it up.
Yeah, it may be a thing we have to, I mean, depends on what kind of process you use, but you're probably gonna have to hire somebody to come in and do some of that, because that's just a process that goes through. I don't have a lot of experience with asphalt, and Jake does too. I know they did some in South Dakota, but pretty much a concrete state. And K Street was our first venture down that alley, well, down that road, pun intended, so. Okay.
So I just want to make sure we're prepared when the time comes to make repairs.
Any other questions on the treasurer's report? I take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to second. Clerk, it's a simple motion, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Mayor's report, couple things to Bob's point. We do have a fund that is available, and I want to make this clear. The League of Cities Annual Conference is in Des Moines this year. Our own Aaron Young is doing a presentation Thursday, is that?
18th, yep,
10:45 or
10:45, yep.
10:45 on the first full day. Starts Wednesday afternoon. I know Melissa, I believe, is getting a certificate from them for her completion of the certified elected municipal officials courses. And there is money available in both my budget and also in the council budget if you want to apply and to attend. I know, Josh, you went to one in Cedar Rapids, and I know Melissa's been to one, and if you have the time, it'd be a good thing. Thursday's the big day, although they do have some sessions about half a day on Friday. Wednesday afternoon, there's a number of different things, but it's well worth the time, and there's a lot of good sessions. So if you take a look, August 23rd is the deadline for the early entry fee. After the 23rd, the fee goes up. I think it's about $50 or $75, something along that line. So let's get you signed up and get that turned in if that's what you want to do. There's a number of things here that I want to mention too. That speaking of the league, I attended the Legislative Policy Committee on Thursday. They are drafting a lot of interesting things. I've sent Jake, do you have that synopsis of what we were doing? I think I sent that to you, if I'm not mistaken. Can you send that out to council to see what the agenda for the league's legislative policy group will be? And it's basically to maintain and work with TIF. They've got a lot of good coalition folks working with them right now, Professional Developers of Iowa. I know that they've been in contact with master builders. I know they've been in contact with the Des Moines Partnership that Steve and I attend as well, and they've partnered with them on some things. The primary issues are TIF. That's one of the big ones, offering some good opportunities for TIF, not necessarily just fighting defense in there. And so there's a number of things there, and so take a look at that when Jake gets that out to you and see what you think. Also, I want to mention here that I was at the Legislative Policy Committee as well, or not the policy, but the board meeting as well. And things are setting up pretty well, as I mentioned, for the annual conference. So again, that's the 17th to the 19th of September. If you can make that work, that'd be great. Community update, a couple of things. To Melissa's point, the Main Street Annual Dinner and Fundraisers Thursday, August 21st, 5 p.m. at Hubbell Hall. Last time I talked to their president, they have about 20 tickets left. They have a maximum number of people they can fit in Hubbell Hall. So they're almost maxed out. That's a great opportunity. It's wonderful to hear that, and kudos to them, and hope it's a great time. I think the theme is Hawaiian theme, if I'm not mistaken.
5 o'clock somewhere.
5 o'clock somewhere, yeah. I saw a shirt like that today at the Press Armadillo. I should have bought it.
Jimmy Buffett style.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett style, that's right. Another great event was last Saturday night. The Indianola Public Arts Commission held a ribbon cutting for the Illuminate Indianola project on Saturday. It was made possible with a grant from Bravo. There were people from Bravo there. Obviously, folks from the Fine Arts Commission were there. Jake was there, I was there. See it at night. If you get a chance, go see it at night and see the illumination that's there. It's really, really an interesting project. Friends of the Indianola Wellness Campus, that organizational meeting is Tuesday, August 20th at 5:30 p.m. in the coffee area at the Wellness Center. Anyone that's interested in working on the Friends of the Wellness Campus. That's gonna be the board that runs the 503C, 501C3. And if there's anyone interested, and if you also want to find out more about the Wellness Campus, please attend, and that's August 20th at 5:30. Women's soccer, Simpson women's soccer plays here Tuesday at 6 p.m. against Truman State. Men's soccer plays here Saturday in an alumni game. And I have unfortunately, grandson playing for Central College in soccer. I thought they were scrimmaging Simpson on Thursday, but we'll find out for sure. If there's anything else anybody has for updates community-wise? All right. Public consideration, new business. First consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 25 of the Indianola Municipal Code, Utility Board of Trustees to provide qualifications for utility board membership. Jake, is this you?
Yep.
Okay.
Mayor and members of the council, the update will codify a requirement of a utility board trustee to have at least one service provided by Indianola Municipal Utilities. IMU General Manager Christus Planks has been engaged and is supportive of the code update. No concerns have been received by any of the current IMU board members of trustees. Legal counsel has reviewed the code update and drafted the ordinance. Staff recommends approval.
Any questions? Take a motion for approval. First consideration.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 2, resolution to approve a lease agreement with the City of Indianola, Iowa and House of Mercy. You want to run that first and we'll take a motion, or what do you want to motion first?
I will go ahead and run through if that's all right.
Let's just do that.
Mayor and Council, the Masonic Temple Building is one of the facilities transferring ownership from Warren County to the City of Indianola as part of the previous land swap agreement or previously agreed land swap agreement. The Masonic Temple Building and parking lot have been deeded to the city. The swap will become effective August 31st, 2025. House of Mercy is a provider of behavioral health services and a tenant on the first floor of the Masonic Temple Building. Entering a lease agreement will allow House of Mercy to continue using the space while the city analyzes longer-term plans and use of the facility. Key provisions of the lease include that the lease would become effective on September 1st, 2025 to provide continuity for House of Mercy. The lease term will be for 1 year, but can be terminated with 90 days notice for any reason. Further, the lease may be terminated immediately in the event that the premises are deemed unfit for occupancy. The lease payment will be $1 per month, but the House of Mercy will also be responsible for utilities, lawn care, snow removal, and any real estate tax or assessment, essentially having it function as a triple net lease. Maintenance, insurance responsibilities, and other standard terms are included within the lease as well. The city attorney has prepared the authorizing resolution and the lease agreement. Staff recommends approval.
A motion and a second, and we'll have questions.
So moved.
Are there any questions? And so, Jake, just to reiterate on this then, this is a little bit different than the one the county had with Mercy, is that correct?
Yeah, slightly different. The county had similar terms than that. It was $1 per month, but I would say the main difference with this lease before you is that House of Mercy would assume more of those operational expenses of the building, limiting the city's responsibilities.
Thank you.
For the interest of the public, can you explain why it's $1?
So I think my understanding, and I didn't do the review of the lease, but my understanding is because of the services that House of Mercy offers and its status, I believe it is a nonprofit, so it's looked at as, because it's providing those services, that the nominal rent is a benefit to the city of Indianola and the services that it provides. But again, we did make changes to ensure that they were going to take on the majority of the cost and expense of upkeep of the property, is taking that so that the city wouldn't have to handle that.
And that included taxes too, if we pay taxes on that, correct?
Correct. They would be responsible for any real estate taxes.
It is a true triple net.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
they're gonna get all that, so yeah.
I just wanted to
Yep, absolutely.
answer that for anyone who may be asking or wondering.
So we're not just, hey,
Yeah.
$1,
Yeah.
so.
Thank you.
No other questions? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Ray?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Motion Motion carries 5-0. Other business, city managers report.
All right, the Hillcrest median has been ground down per city council's direction at the last meeting. Staff was able to successfully test navigating the ground median with one of our ambulances and accessing the trail facilities there. Staff was trying to paint this morning. We did get some rain, so I'm not sure if we were able to quite finish painting it, but it does appear that that grinding did at least help the navigability for our ambulance and hopefully some of the other largest pieces of farm equipment that may be utilizing it this harvest season. Special delivery, an expectant couple arrived at the Indianola Fire Station just after 5 a.m. on August 14th. After a quick assessment, it was determined that the baby would not wait for the hospital. Our medics safely delivered a healthy baby girl right here at our station. We're incredibly proud of the team, and that played a great role in this joyous moment. Vote Indianola for the 2025 People's Choice Award for the Iowa League of Cities. Our downtown square reconstruction project has moved on to the quarterfinals of the 2025 People's Choice Award by the Iowa League of Cities. To advance to the semifinals, we will need the support of our community. To cast your vote, visit the City of Indianola's Facebook page and select the first post that is pinned to our profile. Follow the instructions to select Indianola's project photo in the Iowa Leagues of Cities post. Like it in your set. Consider spreading the word to others to vote for the project before the deadline of this Friday, August 22nd. Our pool officially closed for the season this past weekend on the 17th, so hope everyone got their swimming in. We will have a one-day road closure this week on Wednesday, August 20th. That will be for North D Street between West Clinton Avenue and West Detroit Avenue. And this will be closed for private construction work. More information about the one-day closure and detours can be found on our website as well as social media.
And I assume we've talked to the school district about that, is that right? Since their ring is right there by D Street.
Can't speak to that. That just found out about it before the meeting.
Okay.
They aren't open this week.
They what?
Irving's not in session.
This week? Okay. Oh, that's right, they're already doing their intercession, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. All right, any other, Ron had a thing for future agenda, anything else we want to talk about on future agenda items? Doesn't sound like it. So I would take a motion to enter into closed session in accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.5.1C to discuss strategy with legal counsel in matters that are presently in litigation, or where litigation is imminent and where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the government.
So moved.
Motion is second. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Councilmember Lane?
Aye.
Rape?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Sones?
Motion carries 5-0. We'll take a couple of minutes to allow folks to leave. Aaron, I assume Anytime you're ready.
Jason, I am connected. Perfect. Alrighty, good evening, Mayor and Council. Aaron Young, Communications Manager for the city, and excited to give you an update and some next steps and some background context around our website redesign project. If the title slide didn't already give it away, and if you've been living under a rock, the City of Indianola is redesigning its official website, the domain name of www.indianolaiowa.gov. The goals for the project, as we've stressed before and have communicated publicly, has been to improve the look, layout, and user experience. The process is going to be guided by analytics and best practices, and it really will have an emphasis on accessibility and ease of navigation. In some future slides, we'll talk about a little bit more about why accessibility is going to matter, especially for the City of Indianola, and really as well as other cities and state and local governments of certain requirements that we're going to be required to meet at a specific point here in the future. Back-end features on our website are ongoing, but again, that primary focus that we're going through in this process is on public interaction. And if you have any questions throughout the process, there'll be some spots for you to ask questions, little breaks there, but otherwise it'll be pretty straightforward. So why does accessibility matter? Big reason is to support our stakeholders. So some stats, 26% of US adults live with some type of disability today. 75% of US adults need vision correction, including yours truly, and 2.5 billion people are projected to have some sort of hearing loss in 2025. The other point is to reach our stakeholders. Today, 98% of websites are not accessible. There's been a 200% increase in digital accessibility lawsuits since 2017. This could cost cities and organizations upwards of tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And 90% of consumers support socially responsible organizations, so website accessibility is a plus. How does this impact the city? In April 2024, the U.S. Department of Justice updated its regulations for Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. These are new requirements that local and state governments must comply with for digital accessibility. Our compliance deadline as a city of Indianola is April 26th of 2027. It's all based on population. And so I've got a cheat sheet from the Department of Justice, ada.gov, that kind of notes state and local government size, 0 to 49,999 persons. That compliance date, as I said, is April 26, 2027, so that includes the city of Indianola. Special district governments are also April 26, 2027, and cities and counties who have 50,000 or more persons, their enforcement deadline is April 24th of next year. So fortunately / unfortunately, we can learn from some of our larger cities and some of the best practices and things that they're rolling out. Those conversations, at least with the counterparts that I have in our municipals group, which is communications directors and managers across central Iowa. This is a big topic of discussion, so we're learning from each other and doing the best for our cities and for our citizens. What is Title II of ADA? This is a direct excerpt from ada.gov, and I'll read it in full. Title II of the ADA requires state and local governments to make sure that their services, programs, and activities are accessible to people with disabilities. Title II applies to all services, programs, or activities of state and local governments, from adoption services to zoning regulation. This includes the services, programs, and activities that state and local governments offer online and through mobile apps. So throughout much of the presentation and how the city of Indianola is going through its process, yes, we're going through a website redesign, but we're applying these best practices into all the content that we put out, both on the website, on social media, in print, because we all engage with content differently. And Mayor, I'm going to pick on you a little bit, but just to kind of prove an example. I think probably 5 times last week you referred to yourself as a tech dinosaur.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but it's also on our part to make sure that you don't feel that way, right? So it's being able to meet you where you are, whatever that looks like, to provide the information, whether it's digital, print, social, etc. So it's accountability on us to go above and beyond to make sure that people understand the information.
Sure, thank you.
So those requirements for WCAG 2.1 level AA standards, those key components is alternative text. So that's kind of descriptive text that's behind your images, infographics, things of that sort. Video caption, so it's a great example of one of the videos that the city of Indianola did featuring our medical director for the Indianola Fire Department with an example of closed captioning. Screen reader accessible, use of headings, so your H1, H2, those types of tags to filter through the content. People use screen readers, and that's how it deciphers kind of the ranking of the organization of that content. Descriptive links, logical navigation, color contrast, and then clear language. Clear language I sort of added in. It's kind of not necessarily compliance from the ADA standards, but it's more so of eliminating jargon, using conversational, concise language, because that'll help in that sense of meeting people where they are to better understand what organizations, what the city is talking about.
Aaron, speaking of jargon, what's H1, H2?
So H1, H2 is like header 1, header 2, header 3. So if you go on our current website, if you were to go to a news flash, you'll see like our headline will be like your main headline tag. And then if you go down, it's all color coded to kind of differentiate between the tags. So then H1 would be an example of if you go to the news flash for tonight's city council meeting, there should be an H1 that says watch live Indianola City Council August 18th, 2025, and then embed to the video. And then there could be an H2 tag that includes submit a public comment in advance of the meeting, since we had that news flash back on Thursday. So that'd be an example of that. Good question.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep. Any other questions on any of the kind of technical stuff?
Glad you asked that question instead of me, so that's, to his point.
There are exceptions to the rule, so that would include archived web content, pre-existing conventional electronic documents, content posted by a third party, password-protected content, and previous social media posts. So we don't have to go back to 2017, 18, 19, et cetera. This would all be enforced beginning of that April 27, 2027 date. And if you want to look out for more information for those complete details on exceptions, other information that's provided by the Department of Justice website, I'm more than happy to share those resources with you in a follow-up email, and we'll obviously make that available to the public as well as we get further along in our process. That being said, communications and IT are preparing materials for educational workshops and resources. We have probably about close to 24, I would say, content managers for the sake of the website, and probably just as much for the sake of social media. So it's going to be important to kind of train the trainer, so to speak, but also, again, putting those best practices to use. You know, I'm a baseball guy. You can put a ball on the tee, swing 1,000 times, you're going to get pretty good. So as long as we can get this part more of our fabric of our workflow and our DNA, it'll become second nature. But we're going through between our function and the IT department as part of internal services to provide that material for our staff, which in turn will support all of our citizens and the citizens that we serve. There is a free course that's available online. It's one that I actually took. I'll proudly show off my certificate of completion with
A picture of you later.
Easter. You could, yeah, you can take it, yeah. With the Eastern Schools of Iowa, it's about a 2-hour online course. It's free. Would definitely encourage those, if you're interested, to learn more about accessibility and become a quote-unquote expert yourself, to check it out. It really is something that is a good, beneficial introductory course. That being said, I will kind of pick it apart a little bit for the sake of, as we navigate, you know, our budgetary future, there are plenty of trainings that are out there for, you know, staff like myself, when you could say you specialize in this, right? But it's going to require a little bit more investment to become that professional. It's not required necessarily, but it would be beneficial to think about that in the future as we have those discussions. Any questions? Cool, see you then. So we'll get into the website redesign itself. So it's being led by a small internal team that include myself, Kathy Kester, who serves as our publicity and marketing coordinator, Mylisa Thompson, our technical support specialist with IT, and then Allison Brown, who serves as our teen services and marketing librarian. This process for our website redesign started in June 2025 officially. Our targeted launch for the redesigned website is planned for January 2026. This is a continued partnership with Civic Plus, our current website and previous website vendor as well. So there is no redesign additional cost. It was actually, we were up for renewal back when I first began with the city in September of 23, but trying to navigate these waters with accessibility and understanding more of kind of the priorities of projects, we kind of pushed it back a little bit to figure out what we could do, and ultimately went through the contract renewal that was part of the FY26 budget that was passed recently. Project timeline, kind of have it phased out in 4 different phases. The first one being early stage planning and design exploration, internal review and design development, content organization and accessibility improvements, and final testing and implementation ahead of launch. We're kind of past that step 1. We're more in like that 2-3 window. I kind of have it highlighted. It's tough to see. I'll see if I can use the laser pointer on my computer to show this for the audience. I'm drawing through it, that's okay. I have it highlighted. Right now, we're currently in the layout proposal part. We actually got our color proposal and homepage layout document back from Civic Plus actually this past week. And our internal team reviewed it with the research and the data that we collected from the survey and sent back a few tweaks for the Civic Plus team to bring back to us. There's small kind of design stuff, nothing that's too problematic. So we'll get a new layout and proposal here momentarily, and that deadline to have that submitted back in would be September 5th. So project is on course. It's staying 100% on its timeline track. As you'll notice, again, it's really tiny font, but you'll probably see that a lot of these end dates are going to be in November of in about 2 or 3 months in this November. So going back earlier, we're planning on launching the new redesigned site in January of 2026. Our team on our end, we're doing a lot of kind of rewrites with pages and kind of a revamped sitemap, because going back to that navigational structure for our website, we're really trying to peel the onion back, so to speak, to make sure that what we have currently is the best approach, and learning from more of that data and the analytics that you'll see here as well. So everything, again, is 100% on track and on course, but yeah, that launch for the new redesigned site is planned for January 2026.
Aaron, I have to say that I really appreciate your project plan layout here and the detail. I do have a question on the testing and what resources you're using. I'm just curious if you're pulling in any outside community resources to help test your accessibility.
Yeah, so there are a number of free different websites you can run certain like color codes and other things to test those parameters, even for the sake of language and type of vocabulary that's used, right? You can have it ran through rechecks and stuff like that, but we're also still leveraging the expertise of our partners with Civic Plus. So they have those resources, they're contracted to do that work as well, but it really much is that partnership. So as much as they're doing on their end, we're gonna do on our end as well, so that way we understand the best practices, know what's available, and kind of make those decisions from there. And there could be opportunities for more community involvement when we get closer to that redesigned site, whether it be, citizens or even some more department heads, staff, council, of course, when we get more to that stage. We'll definitely take that input, that involvement, but for right now, we're still early in that process and don't really have much to show for.
Yeah, and like when you get to the user
For sure.
accessibility or testing.
For sure. Good question.
Yeah, I like using the mayor.
I'd be a good tester.
I've done system testing, so
Yeah, awesome.
happy to help.
Definitely tap into your skill set then.
Yeah.
So moving on, to help us out with our accessibility too, it was part of our budget, but we recently integrated a website accessibility tool called AudioEye. So if you were to go to the website, whether it be on your iPads, your phones, your your laptops, computers, you'll see the universal accessibility icon in the lower right of your browser. And it's a blue icon that you click that, and it'll pull up all these different features that are here with focus, cursor, highlight, contrast, so on and so forth. So a lot of the data that we saw was people were having difficulty trying to like read the text or certain things where this tool can help correct that. It's automated, it detects and fixes certain accessibility issues. We get certain reports where we can still detect that information and make that stuff manually. So as much as we love technology, could rely on technology, there still is that accountability part on us to still correct certain things and make sure that we understand what happened so that we don't make that same mistake in the future. So, as I said, that was included in the FY26 budget. So that website redesign survey, it launched June 18, and it ran for about 3 weeks, ending on July 11. We received 39 total responses. You might think, oh, that's a really underwhelming number, but based off the data that we received, it's pretty much in line with what we expected. And we'll show you more of that data here in the next few slides. But in total, again, 39 responses, 72% included residents, both for Indianola and from the county. And 15% were staff, and then others varied. Like we had one guest or tourist/visitor who marked as that audience type. But good, well-rounded representation from that 39. Overall, the key requests that we saw from the data, those findings included easier navigation, better mobile and improved search, positive sentiments and interests, obviously, in accessibility. So that's phenomenal. And then nodal feedback included clear department pages and faster load times. So again, that clear department pages, that page structure, that goes back to why we're going to be intentionally launching the site in January of 26 to give us enough time to do more of that back-end stuff to meet that demand and meet those expectations.
Aaron, is that 39, is that kind of the number you expected you would get, or?
You know, I would think that more citizens obviously would be engaged within their city. So I was hoping for more, but again, with that data, I mean, I'm not gonna, if I had 5, it's still a success.
Right.
And again, as we kind of go through more of those data points, from what we felt as a internal project team, everything's aligned with where we expected. So
Good.
hopefully you all completed the survey. That was a joke.
Believe it or not, I did.
Good, good.
Your tech dinosaur did.
Awesome. But yeah, I'll just show you some of those results in brief. How often do you visit the city's website? The top choice was monthly, followed by weekly. Which devices do you typically use to access the city's website? Top choice was smartphones, followed by a desktop computer or laptop. What type of information do you typically look for on the city's website? Top choice was events or community activities, followed by a 2-way tie for city council agendas or minutes and news or announcements. And then in third was parks and recreation programs. On a scale of 1 to 5, how easy is it to find information on the current city website? We had an average rating of just a little over 3. What design elements would you like to see in the new website? Top choice was easier to use search function, followed by clean, modern layout and clear page structure. And then again, our department, we review the metrics on both our website and social media accounts monthly. The first half of the year shows continued efforts to maintain digital presence following a banner year in 2024. That banner year was really specifically on social media. And our department, we manage website content and support nearly 24 social media accounts across departments in in collaboration with those department designees and those contacts. Again, that near 24 number I mentioned earlier. So the data that I pulled, trying to meet the deadline when our materials are due, I pulled it from January 1 of this year through August 6 of this year as well. So just last week, a couple days ago. And overall page views were at 351,479. That's about a 1.7 increase from 2024. Really across the board, the metrics, you see more green than you do anything else. And that's great to see. I'll talk more about how it's easy to get lost in the numbers, but we look at this data intentionally to understand that what we're putting out is meeting people where they are. There's certain metrics that we're monitoring to make sure that what we're putting out is successful. If it isn't successful, looking at that content and thinking, okay, was it presented in a inaccessible way? Could it have a better headline? Could it have, what are certain components that can improve that content? I'm really tapping back into some of my previous lives where I would really look at data and shape storytelling and trying to put out content that resonated with people. It was timely, it was accurate. So really doing the main functions of my job today. Yes, sir.
So I'm assuming it's Columbus, Ohio. You mean people, there were like maybe 7,000 views from Columbus, Ohio?
So I'll go on that data first, which I think is interesting. So that traffic acquisition, top 10 cities, no set location is a primary target. So people can set whether they want to have their location shared, all that good stuff. Followed by Indianola, Chicago, Des Moines, Columbus, Ohio, Minneapolis, Omaha, Dallas, Aurora, Colorado, and West Des Moines. And I think, especially, I know for sure probably with Aurora. So if you recall when Amanda Zwanziger was here giving her presentation for the Chambers / Experience Indianola, I'm pretty sure she talked about how they were running that co-op marketing campaign in collaboration with with Travel Iowa,
Right.
National Balloon Classic, and Warren County Economic Development. And one of those key target markets was the Denver area. So it's kind of cool that you're able to see that data where from that campaign, those citizens, those users want to learn more about the city. And so that's just an effort of marketing that helped kind of bring them to our site.
Interesting.
So to crack that top 10 when that campaign launched sometime in March or April, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other traffic acquisition is the type, so like how they're getting to our site. Organic search is that leading candidate there with just a smidge over 120,000 views. And so that's when people are inputting in Google or Bing, if that's still a thing, search queries within their keywords to then take them to the City of Indianola website. And it's followed by direct traffic, which is merely just typing in www.indianolaiowa.gov in your browser, followed by social, which is our Facebook and Twitter, and then referral, which is like links from like Experience Indianola or the Economic Development Partnership, etc.
Bob, you noticed he didn't mention AOL, right?
I did.
I talked to a guy today that just lost his AOL account. So there you go.
I think my dad still has an Earthlink account, so
There you go. There you go. I'm not alone then.
you're not alone.
I'm not alone.
The top, you go, Melissa. Yeah.
What's the time for January to August? That's a high number for organic search.
Yeah, January 1 from August 6, and all that number, that data is in comparison, at least the main metrics that those top 4 boxes, that's all in comparison to the previous year. But yeah, with all those numbers from within that time frame, it is up there. Moving on, still with the City of Indianola website, top 5 pages in 2025, homepage followed by library, our search feature on the website, wellness campus, and then our newsflash module. In 2024, it's relatively the same, with the exception of now bringing in our driver's license page, which is merely just 2 paragraphs and then point users to the county to book their appointment and get their instructions that way. And then same thing in 23, relatively the same as well. Now our social media analytics in 2023, I mean, again, just as impressive. You see a lot of green, a lot of growth. This is all still from January 1 through August 6 of this year in comparison to the previous period. I am going to show a slide that I currently have hidden, and it wasn't included initially in the agenda packet, but it is kind of really cool data that I want to kind of pinpoint, and I'm going to unhide it. And hopefully you can see it. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on this. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, it's right here. So for reach, I found this interesting where, from our followers for reach, it's about 4,923, and then from our non-followers, it's 104,733. So think about like brand loyalty or why someone would want to follow an account. So I think for overall like general content that we're pushing out, we're doing really well to put out engaging information and materials that celebrate our community, provide promotional awareness of events, things that are happening within the city that we're proud of. But when it comes into turning those visitors into followers, there's an opportunity for us to continue to maximize that. So I'll zoom out. And like the top 5 pieces of content that we had was, again, during this period was 2 weeks ago Friday when the balloons were flying over the community. We just went out feature hunting, trying to get the best shots safely, and celebrating the community and inviting them to share their post with us because it was a sight to see if you were headed into work, and we wanted to celebrate that content from community. That next post would have been the community spotlight of Rick Miller, who is refreshing the paint around his neighborhood of the fire hydrants, working hand in hand with our fire department and IMU. It's a great story about volunteerism and inspired others to do the same. The next one was our library staff having a phenomenal first week of summer break with how many individuals went through those doors and their programming. It was also National Donut Day, so our engagement committee, to celebrate them, got them donuts. So they enjoyed that. That 4th best post was the memorandum, for Jay Byers Day resolution. For Jay Byers Day, and that was a fitting tribute. And then most recently, our update for trick or treating. That'd be our top 5 posts within that time frame. And then for visits, again, like I said, we're down in those numbers, but you see more green than you do red. The reason I think why you're seeing more red is because we did have that banner year in 2024. You can see just from that visit stat, if you compare 2025 to 2023, that's up 63,300%. So that just really shows that by the councils, the citizens' investment in the communications department, I think what we are doing is magnifying the great work that's already been done before us. We're just making it more of a priority, tailoring those strategies, meeting people where they are, and continue to put our best foot forward. So it really is a sign of that investment that the council, previous council administration has made in prioritizing communications in our organizational structure.
Could some of that also be attributed to Ragbri?
It could. I mean, I could pull up some of that data. When we intentionally put stuff with Ragbri, we really leverage the Indianola Ragbri platform, so a separate channel. And even with Experience Indianola, the collaboration that Amanda Haley with the Chamber, myself, and other community volunteers, a lot of that content lived on experienceindianola.com. We obviously cross-shared, but a lot of that content and those communication efforts came from that brand separate from the city's account.
Okay.
And then just to show more about, that banner year in 2024, I wish Hootsuite allowed you to change the color of the different years of that data, but you can just see all that green of, 124% increase in engagement rate, those impressions up over 1 million, which the city's never had that from Facebook alone. We're not really posting that much frequently. It broke it down to just 59 extra posts from that 2024-2023 period, which in a 12-month period, that's just 4 extra posts a month. So it's really not that much more that we're posting. We're just putting out more engaging, timely content, and people are following, people are interacting with us. Sorry. Lastly, just closing thoughts and remarks. Again, our commitment to accessible, engaging content is at the forefront in everything that we do. Again, we're going to be guiding the analytics to meet the community needs, departmental needs as well. And then again, we're going to have a continued focus on communication, quality, and inclusion to ensure that no citizen, no staff member feels left behind. They're able to engage with their city and provide equal opportunities in both the digital world and in our customer service and day-to-day interactions. So happy to take any other questions, comments, etc.
I don't have any questions, but I know you guys will knock it out of the park, so I know you're gonna do a great job on it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So I'm kind of right there with Steve as being a smartest guy when it comes to technology, but when I go to Facebook, Facebook thinks I need to see a lot of tool ads and stuff like that. Is there a way that we can push this onto other people's algorithms?
Yeah, so there is opportunity where, I'm sure with that kind of marketing, those organizations, those brands could be boosting or putting revenue behind their posts to meet individuals, demographics like yourself for that instance. We could do the same. It's not necessarily something that the city, to my knowledge, hasn't really explored with the exception of recruitment for positions. So we can definitely do that. That is a good point too. We haven't done it before. Everything that we've done at this point for the sake of like social and engagement, it's all organic. It's all in-house. We're not working with a consultant. We don't have really any of that kind of budget set aside to be able to prioritize that. But what we're doing right now is works, but there's plenty of opportunity if it's necessary to do something like that, as you mentioned.
So a lot of that is driven by algorithms on Facebook, and Facebook knows that you like tools, or you've looked at a lot of websites, and so it thinks you want to see that in your timeline.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it could show, hey, Ron likes tools, and hey, here's some balloons.
Every one of us has a digital profile. Like if you visit a website, they could have a certain tag that's placed on the coding on the back end of that organization's website. So when you go to your social media, that tag will follow you to then serve up certain ads to you in that space. So they're always watching, they're always following.
You can go and set the City of Indianola's pages as your favorites, and they'll show up first.
Yep.
The city could sponsor ads, but that costs money.
Yep.
And they can show up in more people's timelines. Like Aaron said, we haven't pursued things like that.
Yeah.
It's really up to the people to go
Yeah.
seek out the information, and if you do that more often, then Facebook's gonna know that you wanna see that.
Yeah, and all that data too, as I shared, it's all primarily from the City of Indianola Facebook account. It's not data that's included with like police, fire, Parks and Rec, all of our other departments. It really is just City of Indianola. And kind of my goal too is, our official communication source is the City of Indianola website. It's not the City of Indianola Facebook. That is a platform that provides two-way engagement where we can have conversations and provide dialogue and context with our citizens, with any and all users. But the main channel that we have for official source of city information is www.indianolaiowa.gov. So my own personal goal is to continue to increase the engagement, those metrics, to drive more traffic back to that site just as much as we're getting on Facebook. And then also better leveraging other social media platforms that make sense, right? Twitter and /X could be a platform that, I've personally have thought about potentially deleting the city account, but however, it's great for the sake of breaking news. We have a lot of journalists that follow us and how we're able to share more of that timely information. Same thing with Instagram. A lot of our younger demographic that we should be reaching out to, they're on that platform. We do have an Instagram account. We're growing our following, but it is an opportunity where we can put out more of that content there as well. There's a lot that we can do. There's a lot of opportunity. It's just deciding which direction makes the most sense and what we want to pursue.
Hootsuite allows you to push the posts out within one button per se, right?
Yep. For all the channels that you have connected to it, you can schedule that in advance, and even provides you, going back to alternative text, they have features there that you can put your text behind there. So even those platforms we're utilizing, we're not dropping the ball where we're not able to meet those needs in that moment as well.
I just have to say, you guys are all doing a great job, all the departments as well. With
Yeah.
content and making things available and responding to constituents who questions, I think that's important engagement.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, we're very much a collaborative city. I think it's definitely been great having a communications department to have, we're all subject matter experts, right? And being able to have our department help out others in that space whenever they need it, for both a staff and a citizen standpoint, it's huge. And the data, the numbers don't lie, so.
I think that's also evident in the fact that we had 2 local TV stations cover the Illuminate alleyway that was done, and I know Channel 5 was there at the time of the ribbon cutting. Channel 8 I saw had a different, they must have come in later and a day later and did it something, but again, that's all you folks doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's the good stuff, and it does position us well in a lot of things, so.
Yeah, no, hats off,
Appreciate the work.
hats off to Cassandra on that. I mean, being able to
Absolutely.
come off from the IPAC, the Indianola Public Art Commission, to then have information, bringing it back to work together to push it out with all the different ways.
Sure.
That's a great collaborative effort through and through.
The staff's done a great job at that, and so is your communication department, so.
Appreciate that.
Any further questions for Mr. Young? If not, I will say we are done for the evening. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And taking into consideration that half an hour